we get down to it, what is the answer? What is the best approach?
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman.
Yeah, welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. So grateful to be with you. I'm really looking forward to diving in today's topic, which is around, do we schedule it or do we intuit it, as far as what to do next in our healing businesses. And really, it could apply to your life as well. But I'm going to be talking today, particularly for you healers, types that are wanting to grow your business. Perhaps you're just trying to begin getting your business going. This could also be helpful to review for those of you that are well beyond that as well. So let's dive into it with the wisdom and knowledge I've gained through my own path of doing this work online for almost 20 years, and also having a number of mentors and teachers in my life and trainings around time management and et cetera, et cetera. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate Make Money meditation today. When we get down to it, what is the answer? What is the best approach? Should we be very goal focused, schedule everything? There was one system that came out a long time ago when I first got online in the 2000s, and it was focused on, it's called, you probably can still find it out there. It's called Simpleology. All right. So if you like the idea of Simpleology, let me unpack a little bit of it for you. So the idea with Simpleology is to schedule every single minute of your day, essentially. At least it was when I was doing their system. I'll just say their system without mentioning who it is. So you schedule every single minute is accounted for in your day, and as you're going through too, you're basically journaling every minute of the day. It's a very intensive practice to make sure you're being highly productive. So you set up your day, all the things you're going to accomplish, you schedule it all out, and then you execute the schedule that day. And you keep it very tight, very to the minute is my recollection. It was very, very much that way. You're writing down times, all this stuff. So it's been a lot of years since I did it, but I do remember those pieces of it. So there is that sort of way of doing things that are very focused. You do a lot of journaling and sifting out what the highest priority things should be, and then you get those on your schedule, you schedule it all out, right? Then you have all the way, let's talk about the other arc. So that's where I started. Then we go to the other arc where, and there's been times in my business and life where I did things very much closer to this way. Whereas let's not plan one single thing. I don't even breathe or take one step in my life without Source giving me the tap on the shoulder to do it, that sort of thing. I'm constantly going to communicate with my guides. I'm going to be meditating. I'll be just be in the space and just that doesn't have to do with what I want. It's what I'm moved into, and Source is guiding and directing it all. And I don't have to be concerned about a single thing because I'm just being present. I'm allowing the flow to just come, and whatever gets accomplished, and cheerio, because that's what my guidance was, and that's all that really matters. So I've gone more towards that at times, to the other extreme, and those both of these extremes exist in the world. For healers, I would say almost nobody does the complete scheduling. It probably no healer does almost. And then there's lots that do a lot closer to la la la. Let's just tune in. Let's see where it leads me, and loads more that are somewhere in between. So yeah, I've definitely been in between. And so my experience with that was really like, okay, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do this system. This is what this guy's really successful with money and everything. And let me do this simpleology thing. Within less than 24 hours, I was yelling at people. The minute anything interrupted me, I'm like, no, I'm busy right now. Boom. And you're working at home, so you have the opportunity to be interrupted potentially. Or what happens is, other things come up during the day that flag your attention, and it's not on your list of what you were to be focused on. And yeah, these systems usually have contingency plans for all that stuff. But largely, I believe that one was like pretty much forget about it. Stay to your schedule almost no matter what seemed to be what I seem to remember. Anyway, so when I did that, like for me on a tension level, tension was so high, it was incredible. And so it was incredibly not good for my energy. So that didn't even last one day, I think, like doing that in that way. And then I think I tried to scale it back, do it more my way, but with the system and you're keeping binders of all your notes and you review them, and you keep sifting through what you're going to be doing and what your priorities are and so in a way it was fun. It was interesting. I don't know. I think I got rid of all my files, but who knows? So yeah, it was a very interesting system in terms of like doing all the journaling of all your ideas. I would do a brain, the brain dump thing, brain dump every morning, then decide what gets on, you then schedule it. And I think a lot of times they ask you to schedule. I think it was like the night before and or the first thing in the morning. Like you could choose either one if you wanted to. So so yeah, because some people do. They believe like you have better success if you schedule everything the next day in detail and in full. Then you go to sleep, you get up and you execute, right? There's that type of system. There's all kinds of other systems. There, what, the ABC system, like A is high priority, B is like things that just need to be done, C is this or whatever. I'm not able to remember every single system and all the different delineations, but SMART goals and this and that. There's so many different ones. And I have tried a number of them at times, but mostly all the system type ones that weren't something like that I created for myself, most of all that stuff like disappeared pretty quickly. I wouldn't stick with it very long because I really found like by and large, it just didn't really feel resonant or true for me. So, what have I found that I have landed with is a joyful and most productive way to handle these things? Well, first of all, I definitely also do not ascribe to, I don't ascribe to the idea of just flying by the seat of your pants or just go with intuition alone. Okay. Now hear me through, as I tell you this, because a lot of times a lot of things I've said probably imply like, no, I'm saying we just listen to spirit and we let it happen and take the actions from there. And there is a lot of truth to that, but it goes deeper than that. That's just a surface one level of looking at it. So, yeah, if you're just being present and you're just doing a bit of tuning in, even you could do even quite a bit of tuning in, you may still not be hitting like the things that are really going to light up your soul the most and bring you the most fulfillment, satisfaction, and impact in your business. Because often your intentional field is already been wired into your conditioning, which reflects the quality of the guidance that you get. So sure, the guidance is going to do better than just like thinking to yourself like, what do I kind of feel like doing today? Which is another thing most people do too. But you instead it's realizing like that intentional field is really influencing you a lot that's already there, like from conditioning and previous choices, decisions, and commitments and commands you've given your subconscious mind. So what you need to do is to make sure you're constantly sharpening that saw, in other words, that's the Stephen Covey stuff, but you have to sharpen the 7 habits of highly successful people. So we have to sharpen that saw and sharpen our intention, sharpen our intentional field. So as much as we want to go into the nothingness and clear out and do energetic processes to just be free and be in the spacious that we also have an intentional field that we want to um, be setting the table for ourselves. So that's the manifestation part. Now, how does this have to do with scheduling versus not scheduling and just doing intuition based all the time? We're getting into it, all right? So when you're looking at going more from your intuition than everything being hyper schedule, that is a priority. You have to take time to do things like I'm a passion test facilitator, for example, helps you get clear on your top five, passions for your life, drills down into more than that, into more details of what you want for your life. So it's like doing things like that for your business, doing deep dive, downloading, and using your left and right brain to plan some things out or flesh out the energetic scaffolding of what you want to create your business, and then delineating like timelines that feel true for you to follow in your business in order to bring them into fruition and to manifest. So you have to spend some time doing that. Just flying into your day, downloading some instructions, and just kind of going with flying by the seat of your pants with your intuition is not going to necessarily grow your business. Are there going to be exceptions? Somebody says, yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. It works perfect. Sure. But for most people, that's not going to work. There's always somebody that's the exception. I used to think like if there's an exception, I want to study the exception. I just want to be like that person. But what I've learned about that is we're not all the same. We're not all wired the same way. For some people, that can work theoretically. Like theoretically, maybe you could experience more and more expansion in your business, fulfillment, joy, lightness, etc. doing that. What I've found is that in my opinion, through my own work and then helping others, is that usually doesn't work really well at all for most people. So almost nobody. And so what we want to do instead is we want to allow ourselves again to take the time to deeply download things in terms of what wants to happen. You might tune into what wants to happen for the next year, the next quarter, the next month, the next week, whatever, the next day download it, right? Download the programs that you want to do, like all these levels of downloading your offerings, downloading your clients, who are they? Taking all this time to do these downloads is huge. And when you're doing all this inner work, which is the thing you've heard again and again, but I'm going to say again, you have to do all this inner work to align your energy. So when you're asking your intuition, what's next? It's going to give you a higher order information, nudges, energy. Your energy is higher, your energy is stronger, your energy is more aligned because you've done the inner work. Now your channel can actually flow with more connected guidance at a higher level and a deeper level and all those things because you've prepared yourself. And so in that way, you are cultivating the ground to manifesting it. And then when it comes to bring it into fruition, we already have, like I said, we after we're downloading things, then we might put some timelines based on our intuition, based on our downloads, and looking at details in the physical world and 3D and our schedules to really map it out and make some strong commitments. Maybe have some flexibility in your plan. That's okay. It's going to vary with that. And then from there, then you have to constantly be listening, not to the sense of, oh, it just doesn't feel good anymore. Let me just do something else. Like that's too surface level to just go by that alone. But you want to be constantly tuning in. If you get a really strong, powerful signal that you know is true to shift things with your plans, you can always do that. So it's not like you're married to this thing no matter what every single time. You do want to listen to some of the course corrects because they can make a huge difference if you're mapping out a launch for something or whatever, like a powerful redirect, something that just didn't come through earlier, all of a sudden comes through, may change your plan significantly or completely and produce a higher yield of results for the service that you're bringing forth, for what you serve, and obviously, again, in your business and and financially and how you feel, etc., like how happy you are. So you have to do both. You have to be listening throughout your day what feels aligned, what feels true on this day for me to be doing. So I use the system, it's kind of an interesting system I have. My top priority is always to keep my mornings clear enough so that I can do all the foundational things that help support my energy. At least most of them, I would say. Most of them. I don't, certain other things, happen at different times during the day. Not everything is done all just in the morning, of course. But I have to set the table right for me. So I do that first thing in the morning. So yeah, okay, do your morning routine. I gotta laugh because everybody talks about having a morning routine, but it can't be emphasized. There's tons of people that know this stuff that aren't doing it. So get your morning routine around your taking care of your energy, getting yourself set up well for the day. So that's like my number one thing. So if I write down items in my schedule, which I do, for the day to focus upon that aren't just automatically scheduled things or prepared things already for that day. I'm looking at doing those things always first, and most of those are automated. Like I just do them each day unless I update it and, kind of revise the routines around meditating, going for my walk, prayers, eating breakfast. The days I might eat a breakfast, some days I may not eat breakfast. Just get a tea or something and do the intermittent fasting dance. So, but yeah, all the different things will have me have to go through my whole list, but what's preparing me spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, etc. for the day. So making sure we're hitting that fairly comprehensively that helps ignite you for your day. And also brings you, you always want to be thinking about how can I, with gratitude and with more levity, coming in lighter into the day, but yet focused. Strong, focused, yet light, both. It all can work together. And so, yeah, generally in structuring your individual days, that's going to be, especially including your business days. I want to say for that part, like, okay, that's the way to go. All right. Like generally speaking, for all of us, I don't think too many people are going to be better off just roll out of the bed and the first thing they do is scroll social media, or the first thing they do is they get right on their to-do list. Like, because if you do that, you could say, no, it's really good for me. It works well for me. But are you consistently doing all the self-care practices, all the things you need? And you're really risking not doing those things then. And then the other thing is you're not preparing your energy for the day, and you may not be in the best energy going into work that day. Like who knows where your focus really is. You have to keep training your focus. You need to keep working upon your consciousness, right? So for me, I'll do some of the things I already mentioned. I might read something affirmative or positive. I may watch a video even. I might watch a video, but it's going to be um, something that's teaching me something about business or motivational stuff. I may do some of those things while I'm sipping tea, or I might just take it in silence. And then I'm preparing myself for the day. So those are some of the things that I do. You bring in whatever it is you feel you want to be doing, and then that, will help you with your energy and your focus. Then, it's about planning that day. Now, I have tried doing it the night before a bit, and I do a little bit the night before sometimes. Like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that tomorrow, and I'll write some of those general things down on my list for the next day in my calendar. And then I deal with more the focus of how it's all going to flow more the next day. But I usually have in mind, some of the things I might be doing the next day on top of the already scheduled things. So that's how I like to do it. And then you get to play. Like, is tuning in and really lining up more the day before better for me? Or does it seem to work out better when I do it the next morning? I'm not a dogmatic teacher about too many things, maybe a few things, but sure. But yeah, so we've got that. And then there are there's the doing everything you have to do for the day. But the first thing is, okay, I'm getting myself ready. That's number one. Number two is what are the, I want to call it executive tasks or creative tasks I have to do in my business. I might need to think some things over in my business. I may need to create something new in my business. May need to create new content. I mean, whatever it is. So whatever the creative thing is, or the executive functioning of my business, spending time in meditation, downloading and thinking about my business, I would do that as a second step. Now, this is just like a normal the normal kind of rank order. Every single day, do I do it that way? Not necessarily. It doesn't always happen that way every single day, but that's kind of the general order. The next order of things would be for me is to consider sales and marketing. Okay, what sales and marketing needs to be not just planned out. Yeah, it might be part of it, but a lot of that's in step number two. But what needs to be actioned, today and in the days to come, etc. So maybe some more planning, but definitely actioning. Okay, I need to contact this person about this talk that I'm going to be doing, or I need to I need to create a new marketing post around this or that, or I need whatever it might be. Like, okay, these are the things I've already written on my list typically. Or when I consider as I go through my day, one, two, three, four, and then there's a five, as I go through, I'm like, okay, is there anything there right now? And then I go ahead and action that out. Okay, I need to contact 10 people about this new program I got going on, or I need to contact my affiliates today. We need to set up emails to our affiliates. We need whatever, all the things. I need to reach out to some new possible podcast guests. Goes on and on. All right, so that's like number three. And then number four, so I do these again daily, and I'll talk about other systems in a moment. And then number four, what comes in up for number four, has to do with making sure that I pour myself into following up with my clients. So I've got the scheduled time with my clients, but then there's all the things I have to do to support my clients that are not, scheduled appointments. Hey, are you meditating? Might be a really basic one, but they're very important reminders. Things like that when I feel the client, needs that particular accountability, or just whatever it is. I do a lot of WhatsApp support for people, especially with one-to-one. And so I'm going back and forth in communication with them. I have to review some things. There may be a number of things I'm doing depending on who I'm working with and what kind of structure we're doing together. Whether helping move things forward in their business directly as part of their business, that does happen. I do have clients where that does happen. Is a part of their service, or is it, I need to send them a channeling or send them a prayer or so many things. So actioning those things out, making sure I'm taking care of my clients, and so that's number four. And the reason why that comes towards the end is because for me, I know if I focus more on that on the upfront, which is great for the clients at one level, but like I will so massively over deliver to my clients, I'll give myself lost in communications and support of my clients to where, I could drop the ball on developing anything new in my business to a level that really is needed or required potentially. So that's why I put it down, not because it's not as important, but because it's so important that I might lose myself in it is what I have found for myself. So that's why I bring it down in like the linear going through one through five. Number five is details. And mostly it's like just details overall. Like, are there any details? Is there anything I've been missing? Like, is there anything I'm missing? Things I haven't thought of yet? So I'll meditate, I'll tune in, I'll be like, details, details. Because if you don't nail certain details, they come back to bite you later. Man, I forgot to do that one thing to make sure my assistant got this or that done, or I forgot that one detail to follow up with that person with the marketing copy they needed, and I didn't think about it before, whatever, like detail things that may not really take much time, but are details that need to be taken care of. Details could be I need to I need to prepare like I need to prepare for tomorrow because I've got a training and Maybe I need to get some of those details. Are the Zoom links ready? Do I have my links ready to send out to people to look at the videos I want them to look at, or whatever. I'm just making stuff up right now, but like details, things that maybe I forgot to attend to that might not have been on my other lists and my plans. I just tune in. What anything I'm missing, details, and then all kinds of different things may come through. And some of those details I schedule. Okay, I need to get a new whatever. I hate to say anything because hesitate to say anything because it may be something like creating. Honestly, I find that happens sometimes. So, but okay, uh, I need to clean my cell phone more often, or so therefore I'm going to do that task at Friday, on Friday. I mean, okay, I wouldn't plan that, but I'm just saying like certain things that, need to be planned and you might not do them otherwise. If you don't plan them, cleaning your office, I mean, like there's so many different details that might matter and make a difference, but they're not high order priorities. They're just things that are might be really important though, very, very important, or just things that need to get accomplished and done. All right, so that's all part of my scheduling system. Like it sounds very logical, it's very linear, but the truth is like I don't follow those steps perfectly 1 through 5. Like it's kind of like throughout the day I'm going through those steps. So sometimes I go to 1 to 3 and 3 to 2, and then whatever. Like it can vary, but it is a structure that I have, and I continue to go back. Sometimes I go through 1 through 5 multiple times through the day. I'm like I start with 1, I go through 5. I'm like okay. All right, I'm done with all that. All right, let's go back to 1, right? And some days I'm so busy, I don't have time to go 1 through 5. I have to just be on appointments with clients or networking or whatever it may be, right? So I may not get through them all. Mondays, I keep more open for um, team-like meetings and networking and just more creative time a little bit. Um, Sunday mornings, I like to do creative things like create email content occasionally. And and then yeah, Tuesday through Thursday is like for a lot of people is like the bulk of the week where I have my appointments and with clients, etc. And so that's more like my action full out mode. Friday is a more relaxed day currently. Again, I'm just telling you what it is today, and I do my podcasts are often, done on Fridays almost always, and then I do some podcast production on Thursdays too. So, and then Saturdays I'm almost always off, and then Sundays I'm often off too. So it's a pretty traditional schedule in that way. And it works pretty well for me right now. I would say like that is working well for me. But I know to answer this question that I just wanted to hit up for you guys after seeing myself and others do different systems is a combination of really, really planning and executing on the plan in detail and still being open to following intuition and flow and even being willing to cancel and revise plans at any moment based on not just, oh, I kind of feel like it, but more based on where you just sense like is going to serve everything best is the way to go, and to do so in a joyful, light way. So if you need to, there's many days I have 2 hours to take care of myself at lunchtime. There's many days. There are the days I do not allow for that much time based on other priorities, but there's many days where I allow for that much so that I can take my time making lunch, eating my lunch without just shoveling it down, and allowing myself to meditate, allowing myself to do a little exercise, allow myself a ramp to just kind of ease back into doing an appointment, at the top of the hour, then after the 2 hours, right? So that way it keeps my energy in a better place than if I'm just scrambling around all day, right? And I didn't have that break, it wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't get that meditation in time. I might not get in the exercise at lunch that helps perk me up and gives me an extra boost in my body for my body. So So that's all part of what I like to do. I largely take my evenings off because I'm easily can become more highly strung, so to speak, or anxious. Kind of my history. So that's why I do a fair amount of meditation. And I also need to be relaxing. I go to the gym at night, not every night, but a couple of times a week at the moment. It's been as much as 4 times a week at other times. It depends on what's going on, my life, my body, etc. And so that gives you an idea of like, again, not that I'm bragging, but it's the facts are like I've had the multi six figure business for over 15 years. And so, although, I'm not like, wow, I want to, like, he's an 8 figure guy. This is his thing. Wow, I'm going to really incorporate that for sure then. But if you're looking for more success, you're looking to get to a nice level of business success, this has been a successful approach for me, not just for the business success, but also for feeling good, feeling a sense of freedom, a sense of play. So it is all roughly how I do it because things do evolve. Like by the time if you ever to talk to me one to one someday, I might be like, yeah, that's what I used to do. Now it's like this and like that. But largely, this system's been around for a very long time, for over a decade, this sort of system. And as long as I take enough time for self-care, so to speak, a connection time, really is what I mean by self-care as much as anything else. I have an extraordinary experience of my life. And when I do the detail part and I don't just kind of just know it's all about connection and just flowing only, and I do the details, but I hold them strongly but lightly too. Better everything fleshes itself out for the business. You've got to be scheduling in and putting in your schedule times when you will be meeting with people to talk to them ultimately about working with you. You have to have those in if you're starting off. Got to fill your appointment with energy scan slots and or discovery calls and or consultations, whatever it is. You got to not just say you're going to do them, schedule them. That is one of those things. That's a firm schedule it. Put it in your schedule. And then look to fill those slots. So yeah, so that part you definitely want to get scheduled. Put in your slots for your clients, all the things where people are going to be meeting with you. You've got to get all this things scheduled. Or again, it may not happen. And then you're really flying by the seat of your pants. There's no structure. You are very vulnerable to just scrolling on social media. Most of you, that would be true. Or getting distracted by countless other things. Because pretty much 100% of us work at home, and there's a lot of temptations when you work at home. And that's why only those that are more disciplined and focused will have the type of success that they're looking for on average. Again, you want to take the what 1 to 5% or so that find that that's not true and they have a whole nother way of doing it, fine, but that's going to be what we look at as exceptions. Okay, so some of the other things I just want to bring in is other ideas, things I have tried to implement and worked with, and but I found like I don't see how it works well for me. And I actually haven't seen it work fully that much at all for other people, is the system of scheduling your business where, okay, one day it's all planning and team meetings. One day is all my webinars and podcasts and everything I'm doing. And then one day is clients. And then one day is like one day for everything. One day social media. One day creating new things for my business or whatever. Like people have those systems too, where they block off certain days for that. And I think it's great if it works for you, but I just haven't seen people say, well, that's what I'm doing. Oh, okay, I'm gonna make an exception. But then there's a lot of exceptions. So, but if you don't mind having plenty of exceptions here and there, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's an absolutely fine. I would say A lot of the people who have made a lot of money in their business often do have those type of systems, and that I'm talking seven figures and more. So I always thought mentally like, well, if they're doing it, I should do it, right? But I have tried it, and maybe I didn't try it, commit to it enough. Maybe that's possible. But I never found it to be clean enough to where it felt right. So I've never maintained anything quite like that. I have some of that, like this day's for this day's for that. I have some of that for sure in my schedule, but not as strongly as the way some people, plan it in. So guys, yes, you can cancel all your plans at any time. You're sitting there in meditation, all of a sudden something, the earth shakes and you totally are clear, like something else is true for that day, that month, that year, this life. Absolutely. That's the freedom we have to be able to redirect everything at any moment and just allow things to be natural and just flow into formation. Sure, to some level and degree, but there is getting to the details and sharpening your attention, sharpening your focus, that is so important. And the most freeing, like to be in the nothing space, places I've been have been silent meditation retreats, and they're extremely regimented. Okay, I'm being a little extreme by saying they're extremely regimented. They're very, very scheduled, very, very regimented. Okay, from this time to this time, we're doing this. And then from this time to that time, we're doing this. But the whole time we're being silent, like basically for most all the time, the ones I've gone to, with few exceptions within the day. So, like doing Q&As and things like that with the mentor. If you get a chance to talk to the mentor or the guide or the spiritual teacher. So, and I've felt, so again, I felt so free, with those type of structures. And that's how I feel like within my business, being more towards that. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to share with you today is to help you because I know there's some of you that are not scheduling enough. And I know there's those of you that are not, you're just allowing your emotions or whatever feeling, doing whatever you feel like doing to dictate too much. And then I feel like there's those of you that are like, I know source doesn't tell me to do it in the first place. I'm not even beginning to even think about doing it. Yeah, you might need to think about doing something, so to speak. It's usually all downloads anyway, right? But you need to, ask better questions like what really serves I, right? What really serves I is good to source, what should I be doing right now? Oh, take a breath. Okay, now what should I do? Take another breath. Okay, source, now what do I do? Hmm. So you could do question answer. Um, or you could ask better questions, right? What's going to produce the highest results in my business this in 2026? Then download, right? Okay. When I'm a $500,000 business, what am I doing in 2026? Then download the information from there, right? So, yeah, so this is, all part of what I do too when I'm coaching people is to understand these, to ask better questions throughout the day when you're meditating, etc. And then there is throughout the day being more in a connected energy throughout the day to allow yourself to be lighter and knowing that you may absolutely shift gears to things that weren't on your list or not scheduled at times as well. To be open to all of that as well. Okay. So my answer is, of course, both. Of course, you knew that probably coming into listening to this particular podcast. All right, guys. Well, I appreciated sharing with you. I hope you could benefit from some of the things I shared with you. I know that what I shared with you is going to benefit some of you tremendously if you actually take action on it. What are the top one to two or three things that you're going to take action on from what I shared today, reflecting upon your own consciousness and your own path, your own business? What are you going to implement? What are you going to shift or change with how you're doing your scheduling and intuiting for your business? Let me know. Okay, if you're somewhere where you can make comments, go ahead, let me know. Subscribe to wherever you're at. Subscribe And I look forward to continue to share information with you. And as I always say, keep on tuning in and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.